Eleanor, use the off.
Okay, benvenuti tutti. Benvenuti a tutti.
Bravo,
Grazie.
Nick.
Grazie.
Oggi è il 9
we-
maggio.
So since we have so many new people, I will briefly introduce myself.
I'll translate for
Nicino,
you.
I think the English speakers know who I am. So sono genealogista di Carlentini e Omaha.
And behind, e oltre.
Ciao, ciao a tutti.
Ciao Silvana.
Ciao,
benvenuta.
Silvana.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
And Eleonora,
Sì.
do you know?
Ciao,
do you
Nelia.
know, Nelia, can you
Silvana.
introduce yourself?
Ciao.
I don't know personally Nelia. Non ci conosciamo personalmente io e te, Nelia.
Sì, no, ci siamo viste qualche volta.
Per un
Sì.
saluto durante la festa di Santa Lucia.
Sì.
Mi ricordo, però abbiamo parlato poco.
Sì, non abbiamo avuto modo.
We haven't talked that much so far. E quindi tu sei, is she related with Joanne? No. Is there a relationship between Nelia and Joanne?
I'm not sure about that because I know that Joanne had, let me show you Joanne's tree and then we can try to figure that
Perché
out.
loro stavano lavorando con Joanne su questo concetto delle riunioni di famiglia e poi ha presentato anche te, quindi ho pensato che magari voi foste
Sì,
related.
sono parenti, Eleonora, perché io l'ho invitata io e Nelia,
Ok,
perché c'è
adesso sto
questa parentela.
inquadrando. Mhm.
Capito? C'è una
So
parentela.
Silvana invited
Yeah.
Nelia because they are related with Joanne and she knew her. Ok, ora seguo. Now I'm following.
Okay, so the relationship with Joanne, here's Joanne. And so you have a daughter, Samantha, right?
Yes, and she should be, they should be listed on there. Or are you looking
Well,
at yours?
not on my tree, but
Oh,
she,
you're on your tree, okay.
yeah. Okay, so Samantha's with us as well.
Mhm.
And Joanne's mother was Genevieve,
Vieni qua, miuccio.
also known as Jenny, also known as Giovanna, and nato 1926, morto 2006, Omaha,
Mhm.
and I believe the connection with the Carlentinis is through the Rositos.
Yes.
Yes.
View her family
Okay.
tree. And we're going to change it to the vertical view. Okay, so here's Rosa. And here is all the children of Sam and Mary Puccio. And Jenny is over here, and Joanne would be down here. Okay, so up here is where the Carlentinis come in. So this would be Joanne's mother, grandfather, and great-grandmother, Rosa, bisnonno, suo fratello, sua sorella, Lucia, cognato conservatore Carlentini. Then when we bring that down, these are relatives. Armenia. And then there's Vittorio and Rita. And Claudia. And Claudia lives in the United Kingdom. Is that right, Joanne?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And Rita and Vittorio, they live in Carlentini. And Silvano was telling me that Rita is a pediatrician. And we were hoping that we could get them to come, but I don't think they've joined us. Let me just check and make sure if anybody new has joined us. I don't see any new faces.
Somebody sent you a message on your telephone.
I'm going to mute you, Gary. I think that was you.
Scusa Nick, un attimo.
Okay.
Eleonora,
So, but last year-
Nelia mi ha chiesto di tradurre perché non capisce nulla.
Io non,
Poi-
Lui
non
sta
capisco
capisci
esplorando,
bene.
tranquilla, stanno
L'inglese non lo
esplorando
capisce,
l'albero
com'è.
genealogico di Joanne e di sua figlia Samantha.
Sì.
Quindi sta facendo vedere fratelli, cugini, sta facendo degli incroci perché loro fanno tutti questo.
C'era la tomba di mia nonna, la mamma di mio papà.
Ah, ok, she saw a grave in the pictures that you were showing. That is the grave of her grandmother.
Come si chiama?
Carlentini Sebastiana, come me.
Like her.
Sebastiana Carlentini.
Sì.
She saw the picture of the grave.
Okay.
I think that the next one coming is Susan Finlay at the end of May. Maybe she already left, isn't it?
Okay.
I think she's en route right now.
Yeah, could be. And then it's gonna be Mary Kay here. E questa?
Sì, questa è mia nonna,
Ma-
la mamma di mio papà.
Ti
She's
assomiglia, Nelia.
the mother of her father. Nelia, mai foto più belle di questa qui? Di tua nonna?
Mia nonna è morta che io ero piccola, avevo 7 anni,
Quindi
quindi
non hai-
abbiamo tanto. Qualcosa di mio nonno invece, del marito sì, ma di mia nonna no.
So her grandma passed away when she was 7 years old. So she doesn't remember her very well. They don't have a lot of pictures. I was asking if she had something better than this picture of the grave, so we can give a different profile to this person. And she said, "No, I don't have." And-
Nick, I just
Eleonora.
realized the date of birth is slightly different on the tomb compared to what you have there on the web.
Ah, hai notato questo? È vero, 901.
Yeah,
What
this is
day?
the
What
2nd of
day?
April 1900, and he actually on the tomb says the 1st of April 1901.
Okay,
That's
so I got
true.
the
Maybe there's
1900
a
birth
mistake.
from Mr. Jim, I believe. And so, yes.
Eleonora, hai notato che la nonna di
So
Nelia si chiama Carlentini come suo marito, avevano lo stesso cognome.
He's also
Perché erano
noted that.
figli di 2 fratelli.
E in
Allora,
effetti, infatti,
Lo vuoi
devo
dire
come
allora,
faceva
mia
essere la
nonna-
nonna paterna ed avere lo stesso cognome lei?
Infatti,
Perché mia nonna e mio nonno erano figli di 2 fratelli.
Ah,
E
Cugini.
l'altro, come anche la mamma di Erminia, e l'altra mia zia, che c'è anche mio zio lì, erano praticamente 2 fratelli e una sorella, sposati con 2 sorelle e un fratello.
okay. So first of all,
Wow.
her parents, they had the same family name because they were first cousins. Both son and daughter of 2 brothers. And then in her family there is another, e invece qual è l'altro caso dei due fratelli e una sorella sposati con due sorelle e un
Allora,
fratello?
sono la mamma, allora, il papà di Erminia,
E chi
mia
è
nonna, Erminia,
Aspetta.
c'è nell'albero genealogico che lui ha fatto, che avete fatto vedere prima,
Mhm.
poi c'era Rita Miceli, la mamma di Rita Miceli.
So and if we go back to the genealogical tree, there is a Rita Miceli.
Praticamente
Dottoressa.
erano,
La dottoressa, la pediatra di Carlentini.
allora,
Where is she?
Pasquale,
Ok,
Pasquale,
Erminia.
allora,
Adesso la vedo Erminia Carlentini. So Erminia Carlentini, the parents, they were two brothers and a sister married with two sisters and a brother. So all of them are Carlentini.
Wow. I see that.
Wow.
There's two
Look at
here.
that.
It has never happened so
Yeah.
far. Non è mai successo finora. La
ed
tua
erano
famiglia è un
figli,
unicum.
ed erano tutti figli di, c'erano figli di due fratelli, perché questo, diciamo, questo mio zio era stato forse in America ed era ritornato, il papà di mia nonna, Sebastiana. Non so com'è di preciso la situazione, però non si conoscevano come cugini perché erano stati lontani, si sono ritrovati grandi e quindi si sono sposati poi tutti insieme.
They didn't know each other because the father of Sebastiana, he emigrated to United States. And when they came with the kids, they were adults, so they didn't know each other. They didn't grow up together as cousins. So they met, they liked each other, and they got married among them.
Come si
Interesting
chiama
story.
suo
Mio papà?
padre?
Allora, Alfio, ma tutti lo chiamavano Turi.
Vero.
Hey.
Che mi stai facendo male.
His name is Alfio, but everybody called him Turi. That is the short name for Salvatore.
Perché,
Ma perché, Nelia?
allora,
Sherry.
perché mio papà oggi avrebbe compiuto 90 anni.
Oh, guarda.
Però
today è il suo compleanno oggi.
Era il suo compleanno oggi. Però
So
il nonno si chiamava,
today is his
il nonno era
birthday.
Salvatore e quindi ci è
9th of
rimasto male, quindi l'hanno, diciamo, l'avevano già all'anagrafe registrato come Alfio, però l'hanno sempre chiamato Turi.
Okay, when they went to the ufficio anagrafe to announce the baby, they gave the
11
name of
maggio,
Alfio.
perché poi è stato registrato l'11 maggio.
Okay, it was registered on May 11th. The same like my grandmother, Maria, she was born on May 7th and she was revealed, as we say in dialect, on the 10th. So every year she started asking for greetings and gift from the 7th to the 10th. Dal 7 al 10, pure mia nonna è stata, no, del 7 è stata rivelata il 10
Ma
e quindi ogni anno
allora
facciamo la
tutti.
mega festa a Sant'Alfio.
Erano tutti così allora. Mio nonno è 24
I think
maggio,
they called him
31
like that
luglio.
because he was born Sant'Alfio's Day. So they didn't respect the tradition to give him the name of the grandfather. The grandfather got offended, so everybody started to call him Turi, like the grandfather was Salvatore, but he was Alfio in the ufficio anagrafe. Penso che gli hanno messo Alfio perché è nato il giorno di Sant'Alfio.
Sì.
E quindi non potevano ignorare questa cosa.
Il nonno si è arrabbiato e quindi poi l'hanno dovuto
The
chiamare.
grandfather got angry for that.
That is great.
Pagecraft is new. Yes. We have a lot of new people tonight. We are 26 people today. Nick, the family is growing.
Eleonora, hai sentito
Quando è nato?
Fred?
15/11/1965.
15?
15.
So November 15th.
Novembre.
Mhm. Fred, what did you say?
What was the year?
Ha detto che è stato
1965.
bello che l'hanno chiamato Alfio, hai capito?
1965, Nick.
Sì? Ok,
Carlentini?
Carlentini.
Carlentini.
E i figli di Sebastiano e Pasquale erano 3. Francesco,
Aspetta,
Concettina
aspetta.
e... Sì.
Alfio. I figli di Sebastiano e Pasquale.
Sì, i miei nonni praticamente, fratelli di mio papà.
Si chiama tu madre?
Mia
Tua
madre
mamma.
Milone, Lucietta,
One more time?
Lucietta.
Lucietta.
Luci.
L.
No,
No, Lucia,
Like
Lucia,
Lucia.
la
Lucia.
Lucia.
L-U-C.
Lucietta.
Lucietta.
Perfetto.
To make her
Quando
special.
era-
Too many Lucia in Carlentini.
A voglia, tante Luciette.
And a lot
Quando è
of
nato?
Lucietta.
7, 12, dicembre 1938.
1938.
Mm.
Nelia, devi sapere che Fred è lentinese e parla lentinese.
Ah,
E ha detto, hanno fatto bene a chiamarlo Alfio.
Giustamente.
Okay, so we need to also bring Paige into the conversation here since she's new. Paige, would you like to turn your microphone on and introduce yourself, please?
Yeah,
Paige, presentati.
I'm Paige Kraft. My Italian names, my family was Barata and Napolitano. I'm typing up an email to send to Nick with more information, but I've got my ancestry tree up and I've really only gotten like through the for sure, my grandmother, great grandmother, and then her parents are who immigrated in like 1910. So, and anywhere past that is kind of my guess. So I'm excited to dive in.
Do you know any of your ancestral towns?
Yes, they are. Oh, let me click them open here. Campoboso and Vincicuro. I might be saying those wrong for sure. Vincicuro.
Dove Nebbia?
Sì, come
Sheila.
nebbia, minchiaturo.
Yeah, I caught that, Nick. I haven't heard of the family name I recognize yet, but
It's
I
a
know.
small world. Il mondo è piccolo.
I'm just so excited to have somebody in Italy with me and now in Vincchiaturo. That's great.
Sheila, before we met, I didn't know about Vinchiaturo as well. Now, when someone goes Vinchiaturo, I go, hey, Sheila's place. You see?
Steve will be very happy.
See,
So
My
Paige, do you know
Paige,
and
my
Steve as
husband's
well,
family,
of course.
My husband's
family
family
name
goes
comes
back to
from Vincchiaturo?
Vincchiaturo for many generations.
Ah,
Oh, let's
dice
see.
che Vinchiaturo è Basilicata. Quando l'abbiamo cercato?
Barata.
Barata.
Molise.
Comunque. Molise, grazie Fred.
Mhm.
Il marito di Sheila, Steve, è lui di Vinchiaturo ed è stato, le loro famiglie per generazioni sono andati poi lì a trovare. Quindi se Paige ha origini da là, sicuramente, chissà, magari sono imparentati.
I'm just drawing a
So I
blank.
see a
can see
couple
his name.
faces that I
Vendetti.
haven't.
Vendettis go back to Vincchiaturo too.
Vendetti? Ah,
Yeah.
ok.
Charlie and them.
And there's one other family that goes back there. I'm just drawing a blank. Nick, I think you
Io
sent them
sì.
to me too.
Yeah,
Il
I don't
Molise.
remember.
I know it'll come to me eventually, but
So many
Charlie.
names, and so little brain space.
Yeah, so far, Charlie, I'm getting close to the Vendetti time, but I'm not quite there yet, so.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way on Ancestry to search by town, but I think you can do that like in a genealogical software.
Interesting. Well, Steve's grandmother's somewhere on that side. It does go back to the Vendettis. The problem is I probably don't know Charlie's tree down enough to know where that tie is, but I'll figure it out.
I have
Hey, have
Charlie's
you ever
tree in
been
my
to
tree.
Italy? I'm sorry.
I have not. I need to.
You do. Ho detto, sì, ma è stata in Italia, dice no, mai. You have to plan to come.
Mhm.
The issue is that you won't come back.
Right. That's, I mean, so I just have to plan it
It
right.
I'm not
Viene,
even
poi non se ne vuole
Italian.
tornare più a casa.
I'm not even Italian and I've been 3 times. You gotta go.
And Tina,
Where
she's
do-
coming September, I think. You will start to September.
Where does
Like,
Paige live?
What was that?
Tina,
Welcome Tina back. Tina, remember, gave us the presentation on ancient faces.
Yep, on
Oh, yeah,
great.
faces. And I have a couple of things for you. I jumped on today because Nick so kindly invites me to your meetings every week and I can't always come, but I have something for you. And then I have a request to make from you. The first thing I wanted to
nice.
bring you was a new website I think you guys are going to like. It's called Ephemera Search. I've got it. Can I share my screen, Nick?
Sure.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm going to share you.
Tina ci ha fatto l'altra volta una bellissima presentazione su come riconoscere i volti delle foto antiche e cercare di dare loro un nome tramite un algoritmo, un computer che sta lì a studiare tratti somatici, analizzando tutte le foto di famiglia e vedendo proprio le similarità, perché certe volte si perdono. Lei ha centinaia di foto.
Ephemera is, we met them when we went to Roots Tech. They had a booth and we had a booth. And so we got to kind of know them, but over time, I think we're going to do some activities with them. And when we go to the National Genealogical Conference here in a few weeks, the one in Richmond, Virginia, their booth is going to be next door to us. And so we're discovering some things to do together. But what's really cool about their site, and I think you guys might like, is it's a free site where you load your postcards and your letters, and they have some optical character recognition software and they do some translating. But the idea is to try, you guys are trying to connect Italian people with their families. These are, you load your letters in hoping that it helps somebody else with their search so that they find the letters of their person from their town. And you want to make sure you load the postal information if you have it, especially on postcards or envelopes. So it's called.
Questo serve invece per aiutare a tradurre e a trovare da dove provengono le lettere e le cartoline del passato, perché giustamente loro certe volte non capiscono neanche quello che c'è scritto. Very interesting.
So I'm going to let you guys investigate that and see if that's something you want to do. And then I have a request. So I am horrible at social media. I'm terrible with it. But, you know, having a new company, I've got to have a social media presence. And so my daughters are taking over our social media. And I was telling them about the graves and the pictures on the gravestones and how it relates to related faces and everything. And they want to do a little social media campaign. And so they asked me to come on and find out if any of you would be willing to share a few pictures of your headstones and the faces on the headstones that we might be able to talk about how you can use the pictures on the headstones to find your ancestors. And if you guys want, we will credit your group. And if you want, now some groups are like, no, we don't want to be, too far out there, and be publicized, but we'll be happy to give everybody credit. But I was wanting some headstone pictures, if anybody be willing to email me a few of them that they let us use.
Mary Kay, do you want to address that? I need to step away for just a second.
Yes, I will. Tina, I'd be happy to send you the
Thank
pictures. I have my great grandparents on there and I can send them to you for sure.
We just think it's such a great idea that there's so many other places in Europe where they do that too.
Mhm.
And we just think it's a great idea to get out there, and you guys will, you know, definitely get the credit for coming up with it because it's brilliant. and,
And you just use
and we
one
didn't think of it.
instead of, on the
So-
gravestone.
Yeah, if you could
So,
just send
but
it to
Tina-
at Related Faces, that'd be great.
Okay, I will
Tina,
do
let
that.
me translate shortly and then I'll come back. Allora, Tina stavo dicendo che avevo questo sito da proporci per quanto riguarda l'interpretazione di lettere e cartoline. E poi lei ha una richiesta da fare. Siccome stanno facendo una campagna di social media in America per quanto riguarda un modo per poter trovare le foto nelle tombe e ricondurre ai propri parenti, lei ci sta chiedendo se noi abbiamo piacere a condividere le nostre foto personali. E giustamente Sherry sta dicendo io posso fare delle foto perché vivo soltanto alcune traverse lontano dal cimitero. Ma adesso io le chiedo se le servono cimiteri siciliani o cimiteri americani. Tina, do you need pictures about cemeteries in Sicily or United States?
I'm looking just for any of them that have photos on the grave, not the ones that are taken from the drawings. Remember, those won't work very well for facial recognition, but the actual photos that they've laser engraved or old-fashioned acid engraved on the tombstones. And so I'd want the whole tombstone and then a close-up of the actual face. And then if we have a picture of the person that we can run through Related Faces and show the pairings, that would be great too. But the mainly the campaign is just, here's another idea where you might be able to find your person. That's the whole idea. I think that the girls want to go with. I don't, Grace and Jessica have their ideas on it.
I don't know if in United States we can get pictures with graves with the pictures of the people on it. I've been just in one cemetery, but
so we have pictures on the grave in Carlentini, and so we have 7,000 memorials in the Carlentini cemetery.
They go by name.
But can I use those because they're on Find a Grave? I don't want to use something that I don't have the rights to, you know, publicly.
Find a Grave is not, these pictures aren't copyrighted.
Okay, okay.
Because they were loaded by the individual volunteers.
And Tina, I have a picture of my great grandmother on the tombstone, but I also have an earlier picture of her that my Nana always had. So that'd give you two distinct photos.
Oh, Mary, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll be happy to send those.
We have a photographer in Carlentini, Lentini. His name is Nuccio Costa. He took most of these pictures. So
with a professional camera, so they are high quality.
That's great. So they're on Find a Grave?
Yeah, Find a Grave. And if you go and if you go to the main page of Find a Grave like this right here, and then you just put cemetery location, put Carlentini, and it'll come right up.
Questo è il sito che è praticamente il primo sito d'Italia con tutte le foto delle tombe scannerizzate. C'è il cimitero di Carlentini, credo che sia l'unico di tutta Italia.
Awesome. Okay, I really appreciate that. That would be great.
Organized alphabetically, or you can do a search if you're looking for a particular name in there. For example, Carlentini. The Carlentinis from Carlentini.
Nice.
And you'll see there's lots of Carlentinis.
And then when we go there, we can understand immediately, according to the style of the picture, how old are the graves as well. So at the beginning,
Era la foto di mio papà.
Quale?
C'era la foto di mio papà.
Carlentini.
Sì, Carlentini Alfio Duri. Ecco qua, questo è mio papà.
That's her father.
Oh,
Le abbiamo fatte tutte a tutti. Non abbiamo dimenticato, spero, nessuno.
Oh,
Che
look
bel
at that.
sorriso. What a beautiful smile.
So nice. Looks
E
so
lui era un devoto di Santa Lucia, faceva parte della deputazione e il suo sogno era avere accanto a sé Santa Lucia. Infatti ti abbiamo messo nella foto.
His
well,
dream was to have close to him Santa Lucia because he had a huge devotion for Santa Lucia. He was one of the devotee for his entire life. And as they put Santa Lucia close to the grave as well.
Nice. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you giving me permission to do this. And I
Yeah.
hope that this ephemera site is useful to you guys because I know you guys have letters and postcards and stuff. And maybe you can start building a collection on there that you can direct some of the other people, you know, that are you're bringing in through. And maybe
Well,
you can
Tina,
have a collection
now
of letters there.
talking as the president of the CarlentiniOmaha Association, at this point, I would like to share my thoughts. We don't have a social media manager or someone who cures our social medias, and maybe having a little bit of publicity thanks to this campaign that you are presenting us. Maybe, who knows, maybe we can be very well known and we can give example and be inspire other people and maybe hire this guy who was volunteer for the first time to do the same in other cemeteries being paid, because so far we haven't had the possibility to pay him. So this could be a first seed that we are planting, and maybe in the future may be nice to have the same for all the other cemeteries in Sicily.
Have you thought about doing a GoFundMe to raise the money?
We did, but we are still thinking on it because we would like to understand how much we should collect, because there is the cemetery of Lentini that is very close by, but there are 20,000 graves. It took almost 2 months to take 7,000 graves because Nick gave him instructions. So remove the flowers, and then Sicily is very sunny. You can't take picture from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So we went early morning and late afternoon. Right. So that means a half of amount of hour that you can have the right light. And then you remove the flower, you walk up, you walk down, and then 2 pictures minimum per grave. One of the face and one of the big grave. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
È tanto lavoro.
It's pretty amazing. And we need to inspire other people to do it, because I think there's a lot of possibilities there that can help people. Like, because for my family, you know, it was Turaluka. It was where I first ran into them. And I couldn't use the Turaluka film off of YouTube. I don't have permission from them to use those images off that I pulled off there for our, you know, little demonstration. I have a bunch of photos that I'm just sure they're from Turaluka, Slovakia. I'm sure they are. And but I don't know who they are.
Okay. I want to ask Eleanor a question about the travel schedule. Who's the next person that you will be guiding in Sicily, Carlentini, Syracuse?
About our family, you mean? I mean, people related with us. I think it will be Sue, the 29th of May. Yeah. I have Sue, and then there is a Mary Kay at the beginning of June. We will be together the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 5th. And then Derek as well is another guy with origins from Carlentini, Derek Favara. He will be the end of June, beginning of July, and then I will be Omaha. If you want, I can send you.
Yes, that would be good. If you could send me the list of names, I would really like to know that.
Okay.
So Mary Kate, when do you actually depart for Sicily?
We leave on Memorial Day to get to Rome, and then we leave on Wednesday, the 31st, to go to Sicily from Rome. And then we are there from the 31st until the 5th.
So Eleonora, Mary Kay, and I and Erica Giorgio are all working on a project to digitize the death records from 1893 to 1899. And Eleonora has drafted up an agreement with the Archivio di Stato di Siracusa, and Mary Kay will be going there on June 5th. And hopefully we can get Erica there before so she can kind of, scope it all out and find out about the scanner and how to scan the registers. And so I don't see Jim with us anymore, but I'm sure Jim will be excited to receive access to that information.
I'll translate in Italian when you're ready.
Sure, go ahead.
Allora, diceva Nick che stiamo lavorando, Nick, Mary Kay, la figlia di Silvana, Erika e io, a questo progetto di accordo con il Tribunale di Siracusa, perché ci sono online tantissimi registri che mancano. Ciao Salvo, un abbraccio.
Ciao.
E ci sono tanti registri che mancano e quindi abbiamo avuto l'accordo di poterli scannerizzare. Per adesso saranno soltanto 9 anni che scannerizzeremo, però se tutto va bene, perché proprio mancano questi qua, i registri di morte dal 1891 al 1899. Non c'è niente online e quindi se questa va bene loro ci daranno poi la possibilità di scannerizzare tutti gli altri, quindi questo vorrà dire non dover passare più per ufficio anagrafe, tribunali eccetera, avremo tutto sempre online e questo sarà importante. E la signora, la direttrice vuole, perché finora non le è mai arrivata una richiesta del genere, ha detto se voi siete in grado di farlo e ci sono volontari, io sarei disposta a estendere la richiesta internamente da direttore a direttore a tutti gli altri tribunali di tutte le altre province della Sicilia, in maniera tale che avremo poi tutto scannerizzato online. So the good news is that this is a pilot program because as Nick was saying, we had the deal, the agreement to scan the act of death from 1891 till 1899. That is our black hole because there is nothing online, nowhere. But if this first step will go very well, and if we have enough volunteers, the director, she told us that she wanted to allow us to scan all the other registers, act of birth, of wedding and death of any era. And if we want, we have to be prepared for that. She said, I will be more than happy to send a private letter to all the other tribunals of Sicily, telling them that you will have the agreement with them and you can do the same for all the other counties, and nobody has never done it. So that means that from this moment on, all the people looking for documents and all the things missing online, they can have easily access from home in the United States without paying a lot of money, hiring people, going to the tribunal and paying money and taxes every time we ask for a document is 16 euros each paper. Is very annoying. So this will be an enormous, let's say, gain. Can I say gain in English of time and money
Yes.
and energies? That's beautiful, but we need the volunteers.
Can I ask a question? Now,
Jimmy, here.
if we're doing the scanning for the missing data from the registries, certainly LDS, Latter Day Saints guys, they did everything else. have you approached them to help offset the cost on this?
I didn't get it. Can
Well,
you
I
say
don't
it in
know that.
English?
Okay, so Jim is asking whether or not we have approached Family Search, or also known as the Latter-day Saints Church, about the scanning process. I have not contacted them about the scanning per se, because I think
No,
we can do that.
I think you're right about that, but I'm saying is if they want those records, they're going to have to pay for them from us.
Well,
Oh, that's a
maybe.
good point. I like it. So we can pay the people because we don't have the money to pay the volunteers, and that's good. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you're right. But I don't know if I get exactly the question. The thing is that we have to use the scanner that the tribunal has, because are the professional ones from the sky, are the huge ones. So we want to scan those registers with our telephones, as we have done so far, as I have done so far. So it's gonna be
right.
professional.
But I'm just saying, you know, they were there originally. I don't know how many million years ago that they had people there scanning everything else, and they overlooked, you know, the 7 years that we're talking about now. And I'm sure they want to get those records in their database.
So I did, you know how we had the people from Family Search tell us about the 20-minute consultation process, where you can get a free consultation. So I set up one of those, and I told them I wanted to donate these records. I want to donate the cemetery books to Family Search. And I mean, I'm concerned about long-term preservation. There's a principle called LOCKS, LOCKSS. Lots of copies keeps stuff safe. And
I like it.
so,
A lot of. Okay.
Detta Leonora.
Allora, praticamente dice c'è un principio che si chiama LOCKS, che sta per tante copie mantengono tutte le copie al sicuro. Però è un gioco in inglese, quindi più copie ci sono meglio è. E quindi lui vuole fare intanto delle donazioni al tribunale e poi anche a Family Search di tutte queste cose che noi stiamo scannerizzando. I say it.
So yes, and what I would like to see the Archivio dello Stato do is upload these images to the Portali Antenati. So that there's a copy there, and there's a copy with Family Search, and then we have a copy.
Quindi lo distribuire a
Separate
tutti,
entities. Aren't those two separate entities?
What, Dean?
Aren't those two separate entities? How could Family Search? They don't have association with Portali Antenati, do they?
They are two independent organizations, yes, but like Jim was saying, back in the, I don't know, 70s, I think is when they went in to the Archivio dello Stato di Siracusa, and they microfilmed, which was originally on rolls. You know, you had to roll the readers to see the microfilms back in the old days. But then they digitized it, but they had, because it was the documents of the Archivio dello Stato di Siracusa, they had an agreement that they gave those images back to them, and then they uploaded them to Portali Antenati. So they came from the same source. They went from the archives to Family Search, back to the archives, and then up to Portali Antenati.
Ok.
Eleonora, vorrei dire se adesso noi facciamo in modo di capire qual è la parentela tra
E infatti
Nelia,
ci stavo pensando poco fa, dissi prima che
perché
finiamo.
Nelia è venuta proprio apposta per questo.
Ma can we find finally what's the relationship between Nelia and Joanne? So next time that Joanne will be here in Sicily, is she still here?
Okay,
See?
so let me just
Okay.
share something about, okay, so this is Joanne's great-grandfather, Sebastiano Fuccio. And I am estimating that he died in 1895. So he's part of that black hole. And I sent a message to Lucy Latina asking for a photograph because
Questo fa parte del buco nero, la morte del 1895, sono quei 9 anni che mancano. Ok.
so I found in the index pages that Alessio gave us, I found Sebastiano Fuccio, son of the late Salvatore and Angela Mangiamelli.
I
Well, the
wonder,
reason that I think that is very likely is that Sebastiano named his two children, Angela and Salvatore, after the grandfather, Salvatore Fuccio, and the grandmother, Angela Mangiamelli.
oh,
So,
penso che questa famiglia non è imparentata con i Fuccio che insomma di Paola Iaca che ha sposato Salvatore Fuccio e poi ha i figli Sebi, Tony e
Paola
Alessandra.
Iaca, non la conosco.
Paola Iaca, la moglie, la mamma di Tony Fuccio, che è sposata con Ambra Cassarino.
so this is Angela,
Carlentini.
Angela tre figli, Luigi, Sebastiano, Sebastiana. And okay, so Sebastiano is the father of Professore Gino Fuccio, and Gino has a son named Alberto. We were hoping that Alberto would join us today, but apparently he was unable.
So you found him on Facebook?
Queste persone le conosciamo tutte, anche Nelia li conosce. Vero, Nelia?
Okay, Nelia knows those people and even Silvana.
I have another question about the trees, because I think you said you were looking at my tree and pulling some information off of it, but I didn't have Salvatore Fuccio and Mariana Circo as being married.
So they were married.
I've got, yes, but in my tree, I haven't come across that record yet, but which, you know, I just want to kind of confirm that so I can make a note here that to actually follow up on that after the meeting here and put those guys together. And so Mariana she was born in 1899. That can we look at those just for a brief second here? And
okay, so let's go to the horizontal view for just a second here.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mariana Circo was born 16 Feb 1899.
Yep. See, I have both of them, but I haven't come across the marriage record yet to actually put them together. So there they are.
Nick,
They
you
have.
found that,
I have
right?
two different families. They're still in
I
their
haven't
own.
found a marriage record either, but if you look at their gravestone,
Yeah.
it says right on it when they were married.
I wonder where that was. When did they come to America? She came like in 1911, I think.
Yeah, and they were married in 1916.
16.
So the other thing that I found was that in his gallery, I put this, well, there's a 1969 marriage license that was posted in the World Herald. Salvatore
On
Fuccio.
February. Yep.
Yeah, February of 1916. But apparently they didn't actually get married until April. Because
Well,
at least that's what
okay.
they put on their gravestone.
Yeah.
So
You know,
those are my
that would
sources.
be typical because they, you know, you get the license and then you do whatever it is, and then the wedding comes along and they get married. And
Well, years ago, didn't they have to do bands in the church where they had to wait so many weeks?
yeah, it was like 3 weeks.
Yes.
But
Okay, so let's go back to the question about Nelia. So let's see if we can find Nelia in the tree, first of all.
Ora intanto cerca Nelia nell'albero, ha detto. Scusate, nel
Okay,
frattempo
so
sto rispondendo a
Nelia and Joanne are third cousins. And this is the path. This is Nelia, this is Turi, this is Sebastiana, and her mother was Lucia Rosito, and her father was Giuseppe. So Lucia and Rosa were sisters. So the connection is through Rosa Rosito, and then to Mariana Circo, and then Jenny Fuccio and Joanne.
Joanne, have you taken the ancestry DNA test?
Yes. It's
Okay.
out there. Yeah.
Okay, it's out there. All righty. Thank you.
Are you Sally Fuccio's cousin, Joanne? Do you know that
What?
name?
What was that?
Do you know the name Sally Fuccio?
I know the name, but my mom had told me that those Fuccios were not related to us.
Gotcha. They live
Fred, are you still coming on July?
in Mongozaccio because this new job here at Stanford, so I don't know.
Perciò ecco punto interrogativo perché ti missi un cane in fila.
Yeah, I know.
Vabbè, va bene, tranquillo.
Se Dio vuole.
Va bene.
E oggi di Sandafio mi chiamo Iafio.
Esatto. Auguri.
Auguri, domani.
Grazie.
Auguri.
E vorrei venire a Veste di Sandafio.
È bellissima, non si può capire.
Stasera a mezzanotte è Nuri.
Esatto, ora facciamo vedere
A
le
luna,
fotografie.
no? A mezzanotte.
A Luna. Tell them about that. Eleanor, tell them about the Nuri. Explain that.
I'm sending Nick some pictures. I was looking for pictures earlier about this year, but just obviously it hasn't happened yet. So I was looking for, I was like, why is there nothing online? And I was like, that's too early. They are, you are in the past, we're in the future, but not that future, let's say. So now I will send Nick beautiful pictures about that. And when we have the chance, we talk about our culture. I was working on the calendar to send it to Sherry and Nick because they want to know who is coming next. There was a guy, Anthony Costantino. Do you remember him? He was coming June as well.
He's on with you guys right now.
I just left.
Oh, and okay. But well, I'm sure he's coming. So Sherry, I'm adding as well him.
He is coming.
Yeah.
So Joanne and I share DNA.
I could see the resemblance.
And actually, Eleanor, I think way down the line, I thought I seen your name somewhere at one point.
Really? So we're related.
Yeah, way down in the DNA line, I seen it somewhere.
I'm so curious. You know what? My little cousins, I baptized. I'm the godmother of Fuccio, Federico Fuccio, who is the son of Sebastiano Fuccio, who is the son of Salvatore Fuccio, who is the son of Sebastiano Fuccio. And those names, they get alternated because my cousin, she married a Fuccio. So is a very common name in my family as well, but is because of this wedding. But I think that if we are related through through your branch in Lentini, maybe. It must be. See. And are you coming to Sicily when? I don't know if I asked you.
We're trying to do it next year, 2024, after the 100th here. We're planning the 100th
That's what I was
festival.
saying. Don't come when there is the Santa Lucia over there, because I won't be here. I won't be there. I will be there.
It would be
L'anno
after that.
prossimo c'è l'anniversario di Santa Lucia Omaha, 100 anni. Quindi stanno facendo festa grande. E sarà bellissimo.
So Joanne is involved in the planning of the 100th Santa Lucia Festival.
I think I met you last year, isn't it? During the festival, could be when the mayor was there.
We run the bocce bar and the bocce games. So that's where.
Ah, the bocce. Okay, I remember. The little kiosk close to the Church of San Cabrini.
Yeah.
Mi ricordo. Close to the stage.
Started in 1925 in Omaha. 1925.
Quindi Giovanna verrà a Carlentini l'anno prossimo, Eleonora?
Sì.
And my son Maxwell is a devotee. He's the biggest one that they have. So you can't miss him.
The biggest one, huh?
Hey,
How
Joan,
tall is he?
when do you guys think?
He's 6'4".
6'4". Wow.
Yeah, he's the one that always gets to carry her and make sure that she gets out of church correctly, because he doesn't trust anybody else. So
He's in all the
he has it
photos.
right here in his heart.
He's in all the photos too, Joan, as everybody's processing out of the church. He's always the one there as well.
So do you go by Joanne or Joan?
Joanne.
Joanne, okay. So I want Joanne to get acquainted, because Mary Kay and I have had some discussions about this year's genealogy room, and Mary Kay is going to contact the Christ Child Center and see if, I mean, worst case scenario, we get the same room we had last year. Best case, we get a larger room, but I'm not sure. I've heard, I think Sherry was telling me the acoustics in the gymnasium, or somebody told me that the acoustics in the gymnasium aren't the greatest. But I was wondering if you think it's possible, Joanne, that we could get the gymnasium?
We can definitely ask Father. So we have a meeting next Wednesday, so I'll bring it up there, but we can definitely ask Father about moving into the gymnasium. But I agree with Sherry, since all of those records are there and you would have access to them, that's probably the best place for you guys to be and not be someplace else off-site.
Mm-hmm.
So we can check on the gymnasium and see what's going on there.
Now, one other option that Sherry proposed is that there are multiple conference rooms up there where the main offices are. I don't know that I really want everybody in separate rooms, but if they were open to that idea, we would consider it as well.
Stanno parlando di come organizzare le discussioni di genealogia durante il Festival di Santa Lucia, perché l'anno scorso hanno avuto un salotto tutto per loro, con tanti tavoli, e la gente arrivava, si sedeva e con i computer loro aprivano simultaneamente tutto quello che hanno lì online, e Nick li aiutava. E quindi sarebbe buono avere una stanza un po' più, dove sia più privacy, perché c'erano troppe voci insieme. See, I think we should work on it, and little by little we can really let it become a habit, something that everybody knows, that we will give those services during this festival, and maybe we can start having sponsors and things like that. So last year was good. in that room with all of those tables, but obviously it was crowded, a lot of people talking. You don't have privacy, everybody can listen. But in the meanwhile, being in the same room, you went like, hey, maybe this is related with you. And it was like a big family. It was even comfortable to have Jim and Dean and everybody, Nick and America and everybody in the same spot. So we should consider to keep it as it is, maybe. What do you think? Or do you want separate rooms?
Nope, I think that it worked pretty well. You know,
Yeah,
I think Nick decided he actually was doing some genealogy stuff on Saturday, but Sunday he was the host and kind of divvied up the people who were coming in.
Maybe nice to give like a half an hour conference and having it on the calendar in the schedule. So we can give a presentation of all of our Zoom meetings and how many trees we have added so far, and define the grave things, all the things that we have done so far in a little half an hour presentation, and give an example, use a pilot family tree who approaches themselves for the first time. So maybe people who have zero idea, they can say, hey, why don't we join the conference and see what they say? And maybe they can fall in love, be interested.
Yeah, one of the folks that came in, there was this couple, but they weren't married. And they were they just happened to be in town and they saw Santa Lucia Festival. Let's just drop by. And the guy was from Sweden, and we traced back his stuff back up to Sweden. And
good job. Pure gli svedesi ci hanno dato verso. Well, now we have connections with Sweden as well.
Yep. And and the girl was the same way.
Yes.
She was living down. Her family was in the Kansas City area, but I think I can't remember exactly where it was, but you know, we followed her tree back for a ways too, until we got kicked out of the room over there. So you know, it's very interesting when, at least for me, it's interesting because you start a tree and you're going down and you're looking at, and this actually, we were looking at a new language for me. And I don't, you know, and that was, but for me, they kind of all look alike now. The Italian looks pretty easy to me to read anymore. That's if it's bright enough. Okay.
So I'm willing to go wherever, you know, they put us. So if it's the same room, that's fine. But what I was thinking in terms of expanding is that we had several people like Kim Mateo, Gary Gibalisco, several others that said, oh, I'll bring a binder with a printout of my family. And what I was suggesting to Bob Hughes and some others is that if you go into ancestry.com, there is and you find an ancestor profile. Let's see if we can get to Sam here. Okay, so this is Joanne's ancestor, Sam, and there is this view of Sam's life called the life story. And so it gives a little summary paragraph here. But then you can add all the events. See, it's kind of like a timeline. And so
go back to the top, Nick. Said Santa's right here. Go back to up there more.
Yeah, he died in San Jose in 1972. So
He has to be a genius or a classical music composer, like
yes.
playing Bach, Beethoven, or isn't it?
My aunt used to tell me that he sang opera, but it's
Opera?
very curly hair.
He has that face, like being in the classical music, classical field.
Yep.
Dice che forse cantava opera lui. E infatti c'ha la faccia un po' del genio che suona il pianoforte, tipo Bach.
His features are very light in coloration. He's very
Like
light.
blonde.
Blonde.
Era nato il 18
Yes.
maggio.
Yes, he was blonde and had green eyes.
Era biondo con gli occhi verdi. I have a lot of friends in Carlentini with the green and blue eyes.
Senza andare troppo lontano pure io.
Infatti anche Silvana ha gli occhi blu.
Ah, verdi.
Verdi?
Okay, so Joanne, one of the things that we want to do when we're editing this particular picture
No,
is to add a date. Okay, so do you have any idea approximately when this was taken? 50s, 60s?
Oh, I think it's on the back of the picture. I'd have to go back and look at it.
Okay, well, if we can
Good
get
job.
a date to put in here,
Okay.
I'll just say 1965. Just.
Oh, I bet it was closer to the 50s.
Okay, 1955.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say about 1955. So when you date a photo like that, and then you go back to your life story.
Eleonora, vorrei chiedere a Giovanna come ha conosciuto Alberico Carlentini.
So this one is dated. This is his passenger list.
So
And then this one is
Silvana,
dated
she's asking
with
you,
marriage
how
license.
did you know Alberico Carlentini?
Claudia. I connected
Claudia.
with on my DNA. It showed Claudia's father. And then I reached out and she said she had put her father's information in to Ancestry. And that's how I started. And so her and I were trying to figure it out.
Ha fatto il test DNA ed è spuntata fuori questa ragazza Claudia. Viva Sant'Alfio. Ciao Fred.
All right, ciao guys. Have a great week.
Un abbraccio.
Ciao, Fred.
Good seeing you,
Così
Fred.
ha trovato questo signore.
E come ha fatto a trovare, scusa,
Ciao,
il DNA tuo? Il suo DNA, come l'ha comparato con questo di questa ragazza, con quello di questa ragazza?
Era stato l'algoritmo online, non lo so come l'ha trovato poi nel suo...
Perché è strano questa cosa.
Nana e Nana. Aspetta,
se tu non li confronti tra i due, come fai a trovarli?
Silvana, she's asking, if you don't compare them, how can you find them? I mean, the family tree says the matches that Ancestry did.
The DNA said that he was a second cousin. So
il match che ha fatto il programma di DNA dicendo che era secondo cugino. But if in Sicily they have never got that test, how can the platform be aware about their info?
Because
I don't know.
Mistero.
Okay, so anyway, to finish this topic, all of this stuff has a date on it, and so you can go up here at the very top and just click print, and it'll create a document that you can print and put it in a binder, and you have information about your immigrant ancestor. So I'm hoping everybody can at least do something similar to this, to bring and show people for their immigrant ancestors, if you don't already have a book. But people like Bob Hughes and Susan Finley are going to bring their books and display them at Santa Lucia. Okay, so to answer the question about DNA, let's go
Can
here.
I make one comment on the picture that was in there that you dated?
Yes?
It looks like there's snow on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But they lived,
So-
they lived in Nebraska and then they moved to California.
So that's another way you could probably date, you know, if they were still in Nebraska.
Yes, and they were at that time. They didn't leave until my oldest brother was like 2. So that's probably right about the time.
Okay.
So what date would that be about?
It probably would have been, I would say that's probably got to be taken in like, I want to say February or March of
Mhm.
19, about that time period. I can go in and look though and adjust the correct date though, Nick.
Okay, good. So, okay, so let's go back to the DNA question. So, I don't know that I can show your matches without having access to your
Forse
screen. Joanne,
ora
do
sta
you know
spiegando
how-
la risposta alla domanda che hai fatto tu prima, Silvana.
do you know how to
Io
share
questa
your
cosa non l'ho mai capita come loro la interpretano,
Fiducia.
ma non ha senso.
if you could share your screen, you can
Ci vuole
show
del sangue per
how you
fare il test
match
di
with,
no?
Ma lo devi comparare con quello di qualcun altro, non è che te lo fai tu e poi come fai a dire che quello è tuo
Infatti ti ho
parente
detto
così?
proprio questo. Va bene quello che spunta da voi da quella parte, ma noi da questa parte se non l'abbiamo mai fatto, come fai a trovare quella persona?
Can you see those?
yes.
Okay. So right here is Vittorio Maselli.
So click on him.
Vittorio Miceli.
So based on the amount of DNA that they share, which is 158 centimorgans, it's estimating that they are either second to third cousins.
In base
Now,
a quello che hanno in comune dal secondo al terzo cugino.
Sì, ma come fanno a sapere cosa hanno in
C'è
comune?
scritto là 158, si vede che questo signore se l'è fatto pure lui il test, altrimenti non puoi
Non
essere
credo
nella
proprio.
piattaforma.
Non credo proprio.
But
No,
if this guy didn't get the test, how can the platform know?
Maybe he did do the test. Maybe
He
Claudia had him do the test and she put the information in.
He had to have done the test. There's no way to get the DNA any other way, and it had to have been through ancestry.
Deve averlo fatto perché se no non c'è altra maniera per essere in questa piattaforma. I did it, so I know I'm there.
Yeah.
Non lo sapevo neanche. Cioè, quindi c'è una piattaforma dove ci sono tutti i DNA.
It's the only way
Io
you
l'ho
can
fatto.
The thing is that your DNA doesn't always link you.
Sono curiosa di vedere se ci sono io, perché io una volta l'ho fatto questo test.
Our
Tu l'hai
DNA
fatto pure?
doesn't always connect us with one another.
L'ho fatto tanti anni fa, nell'83.
Ma questo di
family
Ancestry?
tree,
No, io ho fatto un test per conto mio. Ma non
Ah.
è possibile, io sono convinta che questo test noi italiani non li abbiamo mai fatti.
Silvana,
So
she's
the
saying
family
those
tree-
tests Italians, we have never done it.
No. Questo
so
non è una
somehow,
cosa vera.
somehow she got the test from her father, I think, right? Wasn't it Claudia that got the test?
Yeah, because I messaged her when I messaged to say that I had done this and I came up and it was like right after one of our festivals here. And then Claudia responded to me and said that this was her father, but she put the information in for him. And that's how I came in contact with her. And when I pulled up a picture of her, she's identical to one of my cousins here. So I knew right away that I was talking to the right person because they have the same eyes.
Cioè, chi è
So
questa
the family
Claudia?
tree-
Eleonora? Non ho capito chi è questa
And
Claudia.
who is Claudia?
Silvana, Claudia è la figlia di Vittorio.
Ah sì? Allora quindi Claudia l'ha fatto il test del DNA.
Non lo so, però
Per
Claudia è la
Ancestry.
figlia di Vittorio
Ho capito,
Claudia
però
is the
dico,
daughter
se,
of
se
Vittoria.
esistono su questa piattaforma Ancestry, vuol dire che loro l'hanno fatto.
Penso,
Ma
non
per
non
quale
saprei.
motivo l'hanno fatto? Gliel'ha chiesto Joan forse di farlo? Sono
And
curiosa di
Lo
capire.
so.
maybe Claudia made the test after the. Did you ask Claudia to make the test, or Claudia was already there?
No, it was already there.
Già lei era là, questo test. Magari i ragazzi lo fanno per curiosità, per capire, certe volte se lo regalano per vedere che percentuale hai nel sangue, tipo un po' Norvegia, un po'
Che ne so.
Nord
Ma
Africa.
in Italia non è una cosa che si fa tanto.
Lo so.
La figlia Claudia vive a Londra.
Ah, e allora è probabile. Allora è probabile. Anche
She
perché
lives
io ho
in
telefonato. Io ho telefonato a Vittorio Miceli per farlo intervenire stasera e mi ha detto un po' vediamo, ti chiamo, ma poi non è venuto stasera, non mi ha neanche chiamato. Quindi mi sembra difficile che lui proprio abbia fatto il test, magari la ragazza l'ha fatto per il passatempo.
She lives in London, so maybe from there it's easier to get those tests.
Nick, I can
Io
see
poi
from,
Alberico l'ho chiamato e
sì?
mi ha detto che per stasera aveva un impegno, però mi ha detto dice fammi sapere.
Ok.
Eleonora, lo vuoi dire a Giovanna? Perché lei dice che si
Sì,
ricordava
Claudia
di
tonight
questo
was
suo cugino. Si
ti parlare
ricordava
di
di
Claudia.
questo. No,
No.
Alberico è il fratello,
Lo
lo
zio.
zio di
Lo
Claudia,
zio,
diciamo,
so
perché è il
Alberico
fratello della nonna, il fratello
is
della
Claudia's
signora.
uncle. Tonight he was not available, but Nelia will keep you updated. Maybe next time he can get connected. Forse la prossima volta si può collegare. Glielo dici
Vediamo.
martedì prossimo alle 21, because tonight is Sant'Alfio, so I don't blame him if it was maybe being part of the fest. It's a special day today in general for us in Lentini and Carlentini. Oggi è una giornata speciale comunque per noi Lentini e Carlentini, molti di noi ci andiamo a vedere anche la festa, le cose, quindi già il 9 maggio è particolare, magari la prossima settimana.
Va bene, glielo dirò.
Sempre alle 21 noi ci colleghiamo, next week at 9 p.m. For us.
Ok.
Comunque la stessa parentela che c'è con Vittorio, eccetera, eccetera, c'è anche con me.
Sì, perché il papà, il nonno di Vittorio era fratello di mia nonna e la nonna di Vittorio era sorella di mio nonno.
Capito? C'è una parentela molto stretta.
The same relationship that you have with this guy, you have it with Nelia, the same level of third cousin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Eleanor, I did find you. It says that we are 5th to 8th cousins.
I'm
Our
sorry.
DNA. Our DNA.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it says there.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, I can tell that Steve and Paige, I know Paige has had to go, but they're going to be, they are related.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah,
I was wondering to ask her what's her job and to tell us more about herself. But I didn't, when I thought about it, I saw that she was gone. So maybe next time, I hope that she will join us again. So that's the hardest part, to find the relatives who are still alive, because with this huge distance, 5th to 6th, sometimes we lose pieces along the way. So next time that you will be in Carlentini, Joanne, we can combine a meeting with Nelia and with the other cousin, with the come si chiama questo signore? È troppo complicato per me.
Alberigo.
And Alberigo as well. It's a hard name for me.
Yes.
A Carlentini lo conoscevano tutti e lo conoscono tutti.
Everybody knows him in Carlentini because he's the only one.
No, non per questo, è perché lui
I
diceva
think
il
Alberigo
barbiere.
goes right here. I think Alberigo is the brother
È il barbiere.
Era un barbiere che aveva il salone in piazza, quindi era famosissimo.
Ah, he was super famous because he was the barber in the main square. So everybody knew him. And he knew everybody, I can say. E Ildu conosceva tutti a sua volta.
Penso proprio di sì.
Alberigo or Alberico?
Sì.
Alberigo. So that's your relationship to Alberigo, I think.
Yep.
That he's the son of Sebastiano Carlentini.
Sì.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Nick has done wonderful work. He's
Oh,
found a
yeah.
lot more than,
He has a natural talent.
Yes.
He has a natural talent mixed with the experience, so it makes the neck plus ultra.
Yeah.
See, the top of the top. I call him our W07.
So Alberigo is the uncle of Vittorio and Rita.
Yes.
Sì.
And the granduncle of Claudia.
Granduncle.
Nick, I have a find a grave question when you have a chance.
Sure.
Have you done much with GPS locations?
Well, let's go into the Cimitero di Carlentini, and some of the oops. Some of the photographs have embedded GPS. And so somewhere in here, there's the coordinates for the cemetery itself. Okay, so see where it says 1% with GPS?
Hanno le coordinate per
Yes.
37 gradi.
So these are the ones with GPS.
I was trying to add some GPS coordinates earlier this week
Yeah.
and couldn't get them to take. So that's why I was curious if anyone has added GPS coordinates while they're out in a cemetery. If there's some kind of trick. I got to the spot and thought I had saved them, but they weren't there once I left the cemetery.
Okay, here it is right here. So this is where you enter it.
Wait, you don't even have to enter it. If you go under like the memorial for that. Okay, so let's say find somebody that how do I do this? If you were out there on one that didn't have it yet and you go to add it.
Yes.
Okay, that's where I thought that I had done that, but they weren't. So it looks
so the
like
best thing to do, Sheila, is if you are uploading it from your phone,
which I was.
So just take a picture and upload it. And that picture will have the GPS.
Okay. I already had the pictures out there, so I already had the pictures out there, so I didn't want to duplicate it.
There is an option to put the GPS coordinates on there. You can, you know, as part of the camera
yes
app, yeah, there should be an option on there to turn on and off the GPS, because if you're on vacation and you start posting stuff out on Facebook, then people know that you're on vacation someplace else, and then they go rob your house.
Right. Well, you can just go in and say, if you suggest the edit, it depends on whether you're the owner of the account or not. If you suggest an edit, it will pop up the GPS location and you can save it. And then you can say save suggestion and it complains. So if you're not the owner of the account, if you're the owner of the account, it doesn't, you don't have to suggest it, you can just save it, but they were never there. So I wanted to know if others had done it without having to add a photo.
But
There's
when
without-
when you talk about the geolocation of the grave,
Yes,
mean inside the cemetery?
correct.
Oh,
Because
all these-
not all
All
cemeteries.
these have geolocation.
seriously?
So
That's
Carmela,
the upgrade.
Nigro,
that's a lot.
Sebastiano Brogna, Antonino Randazzo,
Questa è
they're
tanta
all
roba
this part
da
of the
bere dove
cemetery.
sono tutte le tombe all'interno del cimitero, because they change all the time, and sometimes in the same line you have three, one on the top of the other one, and the little niches is more complicated, or the chapels. Well, it's not impossible, but it's a lot of work.
But Eleonora, here's the issue where it's helpful. I'm in a my family goes back to a very rural area, and it's old, and they don't have digitized records, or if they do, they don't have the very old ones, and the graves or the cemeteries aren't laid out and mapped. So you don't have a section and a row and a plot. So
While
the
in
next best
Lentini it's
thing,
very well organized. In Lentini is worst already. Just
Right.
the two villages are close by, and there's a huge difference. You have
Right.
nobody at the entrance, you have no registers or telling you where they are. You have just to walk around and be lucky. And usually you don't.
right, where if you can put the GPS location there, it will take you there.
Yeah.
So
it's
these
true.
small town cemeteries, right now, I'm not having very good luck. Back here, the person who manages the cemeteries is called the sexton. And I'm not having very good luck with the sexton helping me out.
Yeah, I understand.
So I was just curious to see if anybody else had gone into these rural cemeteries and been successful adding the GPS location without adding a photo, because I already had the photos, but I'll try it. Well, I'm going to play more when I go back up there next time, but I was just curious if anybody'd done it.
No.
If you go ahead and add a photo, and then copy the GPS onto the other photo, if you prefer that photo. And then delete the one with the GPS. That'd be
Yeah,
another way to get it there.
Yeah, I'll play around next time I'm up there. I just like the zoomed in. I'm going to give an example, like my mother's grave. You know, the grass hasn't grown yet. It's too new. So I just zoom into the headstone and get the exact visual of what I want. So I'll have to. I have several old ones. So I'm gonna have to just take a day and go up there and play. Just was curious if anybody knew it, how to do it. I thought it would be very easy by add GPS, and it says yes.
Okay.
Well, for
so,
Carlentini, the idea was to make a map more detailed. And then thanks to Nuccio, who took the pictures, so we could give a position to the graves. But that was an extra job. So this could be a plan B.
So it looks like Samantha's at work, is that right? Joanne, can you sort of tell us a little?
I'm at work.
Samantha works for Mike DiGiacomo. So she works for the DiGiacomo boys.
Yeah.
For the company, the paying company, or the restaurant?
No, for the
I see.
credit card company.
For the credit card company. Oh, so nice.
Yeah, they're actually not here today, but yes, I see them every day.
My brother died.
Tooling around on Find a Grave, and there's a place where you can pin. If you're on your phone, here, let me show you. If you go in, this is, I just went to, there's a Schlobaum Cemetery, that's my main name, in Texas. They're not my relations, but I recognize the cemetery. But see where it says pin on map? So what happened was, let me go back one screen, add to map, add to map.
Yep.
And then you come down here, it says pin on map. So if you're on your phone, you're just going to click on pin on map. And
I did that. It didn't work out in rural America. No.
Well, maybe you didn't have the cell coverage to do it properly.
I did. I was on mobile. I was on mobile data. And then see where it says save suggestions?
Yeah.
Down below. Okay, so it depended on whether I owned the account. If I own the account, you don't even see that, you just save. If you're not the owner, you have to ask the owner of the account. You make this suggestion to them and you save this suggestion. And it was complaining that it didn't read any changes. So I'm going to play some more, but I did it plenty at my computer here in Omaha, but when I went out in the countryside, it didn't quite work the same.
Yeah. Okay. All
So
right.
if anybody's successful.
I was like, I knew there was a way because I've done it a couple of times, but yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, I'm open.
Yeah. I just thought, that's the way, but I understand about the person that owns it has to approve it. But if they don't go on it, are they ever going to approve it?
Well, they have a notice if they ever watch it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Eleonora sent me these pictures of St. Alfio.
Oh yeah, those are the so-called nuri that are not literally means naked in dialect, but they're not naked, but they run barefoot, shouting prayers and specific sentences to invoke the presence of Sant'Alfio, and that they have those flowers on one hand and in the other arm is behind the back, and sometimes they have candles lighted, and they keep running for I think almost 2 hours all the way around. And yeah, this is very fascinating. That's the only place in Lentini where we have this kind of habit, and we're very proud of it.
Eleonora, ma sai perché mettono la mano dietro la schiena?
Silvana, she's saying, why do they put the hand behind the back? No.
Io lo so, perché cioè praticamente è come mostrano i santi che erano prigionieri con le mani legate dietro la schiena.
Ah, ok, because when...
E anche questo fatto di essere nudi così, è perché quando furono uccisi erano in questa situazione. Quando furono martirizzati, erano legati e solo
avevano giusto qualche straccio addosso. So they are imitating the three saints when they were killed, because they were naked. They had nothing, and that their hands were both in the back because they were prisoners of the Romans. So they got killed and persecuted because they were Catholics. They were Christians, I'm sorry. And that's why they run with one arm in the back as a prisoner, and in the other arm, in the other hand, they have the flowers as a gift for the saints, or a candle. Ogni tanto hanno la candela oppure fiori, dipende.
Infatti questo modo di vestirsi così ricorda proprio il mattino.
It reminds
e
of
anche il giro che poi mi hanno fatto fare.
The martyr that the three saints had they had at that time. Okay.
So, Marianne, do you want to talk about the tour?
Yes, I will. It went very, very well. There were over 40 walkers. We started in downtown Omaha at Hotel Howard, And then we walked to the Sons of Italy Hall. We walked to St. Francis Cabrini Church. We walked then down to Santa Lucia Hall. We went down then and saw the Bella Vita, which is a home, former Piccolo grocery store location. Then we went to the artwork called the Spaghetti Fork. And then we went to the Carlentini mural. And then we went to Orsi Bakery. At 3 of those locations, they sampled food. They sampled meatballs. They sampled cannoli, and they sampled pizza. The group was very good group. They asked very good questions. They were very interested in the whole story that we had to tell. And I think what made this group so good, there was a kind of a unique characteristic here. And that characteristic was, number one, they were walkers. So they did not have difficulty walking from place to place. And also the people at each station gave very good information. And as a result, good questions were asked. So it went very well, very well. I think Sherry would agree with that. It went very well.
Yeah, it was something that I really didn't know how it would come together. And at each location, people would ask me, what am I supposed to expect? And I couldn't tell them. All I could say is that this walking group came through Santa Lucia a couple of years ago, and they came in small groups, 2 at a time, 3 at a time. So when Marianne first got the group at 10th and Howard, it was all one unit, and there were 56 of them actually.
Wow.
They were very good listeners. They were so interested in learning about all of the history that they could absorb in that short amount of time. They wanted to stay longer at each location. I mean, they wanted to stay longer at Sons of Italy Hall. They wanted to hear more at Santa Lucia Festival Hall. Each of the speakers who spoke also talked about how people could join those organizations, about the halls and how the hall itself could be rented out, and then gave very informative information about the history and the beginnings of each of those groups. So it was really important. The other key people that were there was Mike Fisk and Rosalind were there to talk about their house, which is a restoration of a grocery store across the street from the Santa Lucia Hall. And then down the street, the architecture, which is the fork and the spaghetti. That was also talked about as well. So, and there's a bocce ball right next to that as well that gets used by the association in the neighborhood. We may be able to expand this next year if they ask us to do this again. There's an opportunity perhaps to go a little bit further down on 6th and Pierce Street. And then I've been in talks with people from Metro Community College about possibly doing a combination with Little Bohemia and Little Italy tour.
Mm-hmm. We can easily cut those tours, making them shorter in a way that everybody will be able to do it, because this tour requires people who are very, very fit. And in the summertime, we don't have a lot of shade, and they needed to have bathrooms and water available just in case. So according to my experience, it's perfect as it is for this moment of the year for that group. But if we make it like in 2, making it shorter, that means that they have to walk less, and then they will have more time to interact with the people, offering them stories. This could be something that can be that can easily become a job and an event that can be added on Airbnb and I don't know, booking.com in the section called the experiences. So this could be a habit. And then there is the Durham Museum missing as well. So it can be extended in indoor experiences if in the winter time there is bad weather, or some cooking classes experience. We can add the music as well. So with those kind of things, we can really have plenty of choices It's so-called the tourism of origins. So if our tourists coming because they want to know more about Omaha, it must have a cut. But if our people with the Italian origins from Sicily, maybe they might want to go to the old market or the cemetery or the Durham Museum or the house of their relatives. That are exactly the things that I asked personally when I came to Omaha. I said, I want to go Percy Street because my great-grandfather lived there. I want to go to see Santa Lucia Hall because he used to go there. I want to see this, I want to see that. So it's a unique common heritage that we have, and the way we present it could be something that can make Omaha a location, a destination that can be for everybody, and with a target customized for people with the Sicilian origins. And then everybody loves cannoli, everybody will love kudruni. So maybe we can let Americans with no connections with Sicily enjoying those products. They can find it just in Omaha. Because when I went to Orsi and I tried their kudruni, I said that this is exactly how we make it in Carlentini. It's more similar than the one that I find in some bakery in Carlentini. So it's perfect. And we have to just highlight the good things that are already there, that are working, and present them in a best way with a less complicated things. For example, if this itinerary, the length is too long and we need electric cars, those are expensive. So we cut the tour, so we don't have the problem of the length anymore. If we don't have so many people available every time, because if we needed to have 10 people available, that means that if some of them is not available, the tour cannot be done. Okay, you know what? We can have a 1, 2, 3 option or 3, 4, 5 options according to availability of people around. So we can really make it as we want.
And Eleanor, I just want to point out too that that is difficult. I mean, in calling all these people that I contacted, there were several people that weren't able to be there to present. So I was very lucky to have who I had there to organize it to that extent. But you're right, having backup people is important. The other thing though is that the food aspect, that probably won't happen every time. Marianne, I don't know if you knew, but I made wedding favors for everybody with the 5 almonds. And that's how I introduced to the group their experience, that they would be, I gave them all out with a little, caveat saying, please don't eat those if you're.
I can offer my knowledges to train people, and one person must be able to do everything. As I'm able to explain the whole Sicily, if we go to Palermo, the Valley of the Temples, we did the entire island. So the same, one person can do everything. If that person is not available, we will have another person. So we can, let's say, train 4 or 5 people who are willing to do it. So if some of them is not available, we can have another tour guide. But more people we involve to let the tour be done, more problem we will have, because if some of them is not available, the tour won't happen, and we don't want that. So maybe we can write together a booklet, and all the people, they will say the same things, because in front of the mural they have to say what it must be said. In front of Santa Lucia Hall, the same, and then they can add a personal touch, because everybody has his own
Can I
way.
just ask a question? I was curious about the trek or the part between Mr. Toad's or the Howard Hotel all the way up to, I don't know, where did you go next after?
It was Sons of Italy Hall. However, the pathway there was a complex, like a duplex that was being torn up, took up half the street. So everybody had to cross. I met them at 10th and Pierce at that corner and ushered everybody to cross the street. So it jig-jagged. So after the Durham, they crossed over to the east side of the street, but went to Sons, back to Cabrini, and then down towards Santa Lucia. It
So
originally,
my question is, that's a long stretch between the Howard Hotel and Little Italy.
it was surprising, Nick. I was surprised. They went a lot faster than I thought up that hill. I was
Yeah.
shocked.
Well, Nick, also the age group I would say was between 55 and 70. And they are experienced walkers. And the
Right.
day was a beautiful day, no humidity, it was sunshine. So all of those elements, really did help that group.
Helped.
If you did have a more elderly group or younger even, like the young children, I think that you have to corral them a little differently.
Yeah.
This group was experienced walkers. Mhm.
Is doable, but it needs some little adjustment that you will add along the way with the
Yeah,
experience.
in the
It's-
middle of
it's good.
summer, you almost have to have a shuttle between the Howard Hotel and Little
In that
Italy.
case, you will have umbrellas, so they can walk around with umbrellas and have their own shadow. So it should be organized. Stiamo parlando del tour di Omaha che hanno fatto,
Sì,
perché
l'ho
è troppo
capito,
lungo, si
capito.
cammina troppo. Ora poi gli do una mano a farlo meglio e così lo possono aggiungere nelle attività proprio della città, se lo possono vendere, perché l'Italy ha tante cose belle da offrire e vanno soltanto proposte nella maniera giusta. Le cose
Scusa,
belle che abbiamo fatto...
Eleonora,
sì.
Eleonora,
Sì.
scusami, io
Sì, Nelia.
dovrei lasciare
Andate.
purtroppo,
È
sì.
anche tardi, sì.
Mi
Sì, anche
Una
dispiace.
buonanotte, tranquilla,
Ciao
non
a
ti
tutti.
preoccupare.
E come facciamo con Johan per avere un contatto, magari se lei su Facebook?
Joanne, she wants you
Joanne.
to give her your Facebook account or something because Nelia wants to stay in touch with you.
Yes, I will give both them. Yes, yes. Thank you so much. It was so good to see you.
Ora ti fa
Sì,
mandare il
Nelia.
contatto.
Ok,
Mm?
va bene? Grazie
Sì.
a tutti. Ciao,
Grazie
ciao.
a voi.
Ciao
Ciao,
Nelia,
ciao,
ci vediamo
ciao.
presto. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Okay.
Okay, so I wanted to ask Jim a question, or actually kind of bring up an issue with Salvatore Samfuccio. Okay, so here he is on line 19 of the passenger list of the Steamship Canada, 17 May 1913. And
I just pulled that up on your account there.
yeah, and when you look at over on line 19, one of the things that's a discrepancy is it says his mother is Rosa Puglisi when his mother was actually Giovanna Puglisi.
Hold on.
And so I don't know
One
how we
moment.
resolve that conflict, but
One moment.
and the other thing that the walking tour brought to mind was, if you look at the second page on line 19, you'll see that he was going to join his uncle UNCLE Fuccio Angelo at our favorite address, 1004 Howard Street. So that's the Howard Hotel.
So that is Fuccio there, that name.
I think it's Fuccio. Because there was an Angelo Fuccio.
Okay, well, that's what I was
figured.
Angela is his sister.
Excuse me? No, he had a sister named Angela. You're right, Dean. But he also had an uncle named Angelo. And so I'm still trying to figure that one out.
Well,
but he
there was a whole bunch of them I noticed too on the list on the first page.
Yes.
From him down maybe 5 or 6.
Right.
They were all going to Omaha.
Right. Omaha, 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 Omaha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. So yeah, we got let's see, from Salvatore Fuccio, we got Antonino Vacanti, Pietro Pietrozello, Salvatore Catania, Francesco Amato, Salvatore Narzizzi.
He didn't go.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, yeah, this guy didn't go.
Yeah, he didn't go. But then, you know, what you find out too is sometimes, okay, they don't get on the boat here, but there's another boat that leaves in another month or so. And they get on the other boat, and I have had that. I usually document the one that they missed, you know, because they got essentially some of them have, like, you know, the relatives in Carlentini that they're leaving, and they have who they're supposed to be meeting in America, but then they don't get on the boat. And then you find a record later on, you know, in another manifest where they actually got on the boat and came across. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to find that kind of stuff. And then the other thing with those manifests is sometimes they get detained at Ellis Island. And it's not always, you know, it doesn't always show up in the searches for those particular records. But, you know, they could be detained for a while, you know, fun stuff. Yeah, I looked at that and I was like, yeah, you gave me a lot more work to do, because I went and looked up, you know, Salvatore on your site there, and I didn't have that. But I in the next iteration here, Salvatore and Mariana are going to be married, and they're both going to be on the boat that come over. And we'll just go from there.
All right, well, I think it's about time to bring this meeting to a close. I want to especially thank Joanne and Samantha for being here with us. We didn't get a lot of your relatives here tonight, but hopefully we can get more. And we did have a nice chat with Nelia and found out how she was related.
Yeah. Silvana makes always a great connections. Silvana, tu fai sempre delle belle connessioni.
Noi abbiamo un'amica.
Sì. Grazie a tutti. Thank you, everybody.
Have a good week.
Ciao, ci vediamo presto.
Ci
Vediamo il prossimo martedì.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Ciao a tutti.
Ciao a tutti.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.